This is a wiring diagram of a typical gas furnace, and it has two flame rollout switches and one limit switch. So the two flame rollout switches are listed as a manual reset, which usually means they have a button on the back to manually reset them if they trip. And then the limit switch is an auto reset that if the temperature drops below the setting of the switch, the furnace will continue to operate. So when troubleshooting a safety circuit, the best way to do that is to check continuity through the safety switches to make sure that they're all closed. But one thing that technicians overlook most times is that there could be an open circuit throughout the wiring on the safety circuit. So where the safety circuit plugs into the control board is where you need to double check and make sure that you have continuity through the system. So by taking your voltmeter and putting it on both sides of the safety circuit, you can check and see that if there's any opening in the wires or the connectors or the plugs, that you can detect that and troubleshoot it and take care of it. Who have been working in the field for a long time have probably seen these old fan limit switches that had a dial on them where you could set the temperature where the blower motor would come on and also the temperature where the furnace would trip if a high limit situation was arrived at. These also had a insertion that went into the heat exchanger compartment that had a bimetal strip that would rotate when heated, and it would rotate the dial and it would trip on the set points for the blower and for the heat exchanger high limit. So your more modern furnaces have a click-on type high limit switch that inserts into the heat exchanger compartment. And these switches will trip, and as we said, they are auto resets. So if the temperature drops below the set point, the furnace will reset and will reignite. Causes for the limit switch to trip are in some rare cases, the switch might trip at a lower temperature than what it's designed for. But often it's because of gas pressure, gas firing rate, or turbulence in the furnace causing this limit switch to trip. This is another design of high limit switches with a little click-on switch that is inserted in the heat exchanger compartment. And this particular one is designed to trip at 150 degrees. So some of these switches have the limits printed directly on them. Others you would have to call a parts department to get the specifications for that limit switch. The flame rollout switch is located at the back end of the burner compartment and is designed to shut down the furnace in case there's a blockage in the heat exchanger or some problem with the gas pressure. Another type of flame rollout switch is the capillary tube type, which is generally used on rooftop gas heat sections, where the capillary tube runs across the entire length of the burner rack, so that if there's rollout on any of the burners, it will detect that and shut the furnace down. As we've stated, the rollout switch is usually a manual reset and has a little button on the back to reset the switch. So if the furnace shuts down because of flame rollout, it will have to be manually reset to put the furnace back into operation. On 90% gas condensing furnaces, there are pressure switches that are designed to shut the furnace down in case of a blocked vent. On 80% furnaces, they have a blocked vent switch, which is designed to shut the furnace down if the vent becomes blocked, or if the combustion air in the area where the furnace is located becomes insufficient to support combustion, and the furnace starts pulling air down the flue to support combustion, and it will overheat this switch and shut the furnace down. Another safety that is often overlooked on a gas furnace is the door switch. Oftentimes when you take the door off the blower compartment of a gas furnace, you'll find this kind of situation. There are many tools that are available to jump or bypass the door switch while the technician does diagnostic and troubleshooting on the furnace to find the problem. The door switch is also a safety switch to protect anyone taking the blower door off from the high voltage inside the compartment. Make sure when you are done working on a furnace, any tape or tool used to bypass the door switch is removed and the door switch is working properly. This will ensure that you and your company will not be liable for any issues if a homeowner or other technician gets shocked working in the blower compartment.
Go to Airefco.com for more videos, like, subscribe, and check back every week for new videos.